Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today I'm going to be giving an update on SNDL, Sundial. Now, I haven't done this one in a while, so if you'd like to watch my previous one, you'll find it in the description below at your convenience. Now, make sure to drop a like to this video to help this channel grow, subscribe, and leave notifications on. Let's jump right into it. So, Sundial. Well, cannabis, but in all different ways. They have different products. Whether you're looking for an oil extract, to buds, to vape pens, they have it all. So some of their featured products here, based on their brands, goes on to Sundial General, Top Leaf, BC Weed, Palmetto, and Grasslands. A bit of a breakdown basically goes as, well, you have your Sundial portfolio in general, and then you have your Top Leaf. So basically it's a legacy that counts. It has formats of flower, vape, pre-roll, and concentrates. Now this one here is basically, it has, well, that's a general one for an extra THC levels. The next thing here is BC Weed Co. And this one is the BC British Columbia brand. And it has Nukin, Death Booba, Island Pink, and Blueberry. And it comes in flower, vape, and concentrates. I'll go through the difference in a second. Sundial, which is the original, and it comes in forms of flower, oil, pre-roll, topicals, and vape. And Palmetto, which is joints, carts, and buds. Now, the big thing about this one here is the level of premium / to value. So if you go to value, for instance, value goes on under the Grasslands. Now, core goes Sundial and Palmetto. Premium core, you're going on to BC Weed, and premium as Top Leaf. And so really it depends on your taste of which one you'd like. It goes on from dry flower to vape. And they have done basically a bit of research on there to find what percentage of the population does prefer, let's say, the discount, which is around 25%, and the value one Grasslands does offer that kind of demographic, that potential for enjoying at a value rather than a discount at a good quality of flowers, dried flowers. Now, the vapes for price partitions, you're looking at a value with Palmetto at 23% of the market. Now, the next thing here we want to cover is some of the latest SEC filings. So initially, they ended up receiving their 180 days compliance period extension that goes on all the way to June 26, 2021. They don't have the minimum bid, and they need the minimum bid of $1 for 10 consecutive days. Now, the next thing here, well, we already know this one here. Next thing here is, how are they raising some of the money to offset the debt? Now, the big thing about this one here is that they offered an equity distribution program for $150 million from time to time through their sales agent to basically sell more shares in order to, in fact, pay off their debt. And we get to see Sundial announces $50 million repayment of senior note secured non-revolving term credit facility. Now, that is positive because the debt repayment will result in an annualized reduction in interest cost of $2.5 million. The Sundial's remaining indebtedness consists of $22 million under the facility and company's current unrestricted cash balance. That is approximately $39 million. Now, that was way back in the early of December. Now, later on, in 21st of December, they officially become debt-free status through restructuring. So while many cannabis companies have significant debt burdens, Sundial is proud to announce that we are now debt-free, said Zach George, the Sundial CEO. In February 2020, the global pandemic was just emerging, the Sundial was running out of cash, and just 2 quarters after its IPO, we were in breach of covenants under the terms of senior secured credit facility. So now they have eliminated $227 million of debt this year. That is massive. Now, one of the next things we have is basically they're concentrating on license agreement with Simply Solventless. So Simply Solventless Concentrate. Basically what happened was an entering a license agreement between the two. And the new agreement provides the company the opportunity to leverage SSC's knowledge and expertise regarding concentrates manufacturing with an expand line of products. As a part of our continued cost and process optimization initiative, we are pleased to enter a licensing agreement with SSC that includes a non-binding purchase agreement to sell Rocky View facility. So the Rocky View facility, that is potential there, and especially with their expertise. You might remember regarding the weed or THC infused beer, that is something potentially there in this deal. So Simply Solventless, I went on their website. Basically, it's very primitive, but still gives you all the information. Basically, it comes into words concentrates. So their mission is to provide pure, potent, terpene-rich solventless concentrates to discerning cannabis users. So they craft solventless concentrates basically with water, heat, and pressure, and nothing more. So it's very much pure. Now, institutional buyers here, before moving on to a bit more news, it looks like things are on a sit still and nothing there interesting. Now, the Sundial announcement of strategic investment, that basically considered of investment totaling $58.9 million in cash, was funded by Sundial's available cash reserve, which totaled $110 million immediately prior to closing of the investment. All amounts are basically shown in Canadian dollars, and the investment here in the special purpose vehicle owns $58.9 million of aggregate principal amount of senior notes secured debt of Zenabas Investment Ltd, and is a subsidiary of Zenabas Global Inc., which is the parent, and the senior loans bears interest at a rate premium of 14% a year. And the maturity date of that is all the way to 2025. So that is something interesting there. Of course, it is something in my books, it is bullish. Now, the next thing here is the providing the updates from the announcement that it's going to go to $51.9 million. And it still is as well going to mature in 2025. So is there anything else here? No, there is not. But the next thing we want to look at here is the potential they have. So especially with the MORE Act of 2020, if you do remember, we did have basically an act to decriminalize weed. It did pass in the House and now comes to the Senate. And if I was to look quickly to Georgia Senate polls quickly on so far from what we know, the two projected winners currently are blue. So that leaves 50 Senate seats going on to Democrats, 50 to Republicans, with the vice president-elect being the 51st vote and the tiebreaker. So that means it does have a high chance of actually passing in right now because of this massive vote. Now, from what I see, the price did not adjust to that massively. Yes, we are 20%, but if you do remember, this is a massive thing, especially with a lot of the co-sponsors being mainly just Democrats. There's only one Republican on the ticket and 120 as Democrats. And that does show you something that it is mainly a Democratic bill. And with the two new seats coming on going to Democrats, you can expect for this one to increase in value, or sorry, to expect this one to pass in terms of MORE Act, and thus that can translate to SNDL. How? Well, we do know that there is interest for a lot of these Canadian companies to open and expand into the US, and that might open up the way or pave the way for the future. Now, the next thing here is something that is going to be a little bit useless to do, but we want to look quickly at the total revenue. Total revenue, we're looking 23 million going all the way to 12 million. So things have been looking a little bit rough. If we were to look into annual, we don't get to see much of an improvement yet here. But in terms of the net income itself, it looks like we've actually decreased their net income year on year, going on from, let's say, negative 43 million to negative 60 to negative 71. And a lot of that comes in from basically the net itself, the operating income or loss, followed by the tax itself. Now, the next thing we want to look at is quickly the balance sheet in terms of total assets. Total current assets sits at, in terms of quarterly, it's went from 172 million all the way down to 87 million. That's concerning, although total assets in general as well have gone almost to half there. A big part of it is accumulated depreciation. And then the next thing is their total liabilities here has been decreasing, and as we know already, they have zero debt, and that is amazing. So we expected the fourth quarter to be a lot better than what we're seeing here, and thus becomes more bullish. Now, the next thing we want to look at here, which is very important, is the technical analysis. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so right now. It makes sure that YouTube knows my YouTube channel is somewhat of a benefits to investors or people who watch this kind of context, and helps me out. If you have any comments or feedback, please mention them down below. On a 1 week perspective, things look a little bit rough. Now, yes, it is officially bullish today on a 1 week perspective. MACD looks still positive, a bit rough, but stable. So everything looks stable and bullish, but not in a way where it signals a massive run. Now, on a 1 day perspective, the MACD is testing a positive a positive move and positive reversal starting tomorrow. It started today, but tomorrow we get the confirmation that MACD histogram will probably be upwards. Moving averages are all fully bullish. The trading action zone where reversals are likely is between 50 cents and 48 cents. ADX shows in a very possible chance of a trend here, and William %R shows it's a bit overbought. Now, on a 2-hour perspective, what we get to see here is things are looking a lot better. The moving average band is really bullish. The trading action zone is between 62 cents and 57 cents. That's where you start expecting positive reversals to occur, and the ADX here and everything else doesn't show you much, but the moving averages are very bullish. Now, on a 1-day perspective, things look a little bit worse than what we see in terms of the bullish sense. Is that the moving average band is expected to trade at 54 cents in the middle, 49 in the middle, 54 cents in the top, 49 in the middle, and 45 in the bottom. Now, this one doesn't really trade within it, but it's just for the sake of the argument for you something to know. The next thing is the stochastic fast and stochastic slow. Both are showing very bullish trends. They're both showing upwards and bullish, and they show that we might actually see a little bit of a further push down. Now, coming on towards Fibonacci retracements, I'm unable to get a clear image of this one just because of the massive drop from the year on year. But if we were to look into just major price line actions in general, we get to see a support sitting at the 60 cents. Below there, 55 cents. Below there, we're looking down to 50 cents. And then a very, very strong one at 45, 42, and then going all the way down to 37, 32, and then going to 29, and then down to 24. Significant resistances are only a few. 66 cents. Above there, we're looking up to 70 cents. Above there, we're looking at 73, and above there, we're looking somewhere around 80 cents. From there on, we can expect massive pushes, especially at the 92 cents. That seems to be a very, very strong resistance, been tested twice. And then below there, above there, we're looking up to $1.04, and then $1.09, and then $1.12. And above there, we can start stabilizing towards the upper highs all the way up to $1.66, and potentially even achieving $2.74. Comes to the question now, Ed, what do you think we should do? In terms of trading, I definitely see that beyond inauguration around January 20th or so, I do expect there is for it to be a bit more of a push, especially with the Georgia win. That's massive. I mean, that initially is bigger itself for the Democrats to take the Senate than the presidency, because who processes the laws? You have Democrats now in Congress. Basically, Democrats have Congress itself, both the Senate and the House, and the presidency. So decriminalization of weed can be expected very, very soon, and that will be bullish. And I don't understand why this one previously ran to, let's say, 59 cents around elections, and right now it's not seeing that overreaction itself. It does show you possibly some people are sleeping on it, but I definitely think that they are up to some really insane investments and future projects, and I do think they're bullish in the long term, yet they are very, very, very high risk stock. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like. You have a wonderful day.